Recently, Italy has ramped up its level of contestation with the European Union over its draft budget for 2019. Already earlier in the year, the Italians had signalled that they wanted to increase the size of their deficit because they believed that for domestic economic purposes, it was better to spend money now to try to do things in the Italian economy, particularly to reward the supporters of the two parties which are now in the government. That's the Cinque Stelle, or Five Stars, which is predominantly supported by people in the south of Italy and which offers an increase in public spending to try to woo its supporters. The north of Italy is mainly supported by is the main supporter of the Lega, the party headed by Matteo Salvini, and they, on the whole, look for lower taxes. If you try to offer lower taxes and higher public expenditure, your deficit is necessarily going to increase. And what this does is to bring Italy into conflict with European rules, which require that deficits be declining, and particularly in a country with a high debt like Italy, that the debt should diminish fairly rapidly from its current high level of over 130%. The European Commission is obliged to oversee the draft budgets of countries which are in the Eurozone, and those submitted by Italy breached the conditions and the rules that they were supposed to follow, hence the contest. What is now intriguing is what happens next. Who is going to blink? There are two possibilities. One is that the Italians are fined ultimately, or sanctioned with escalating up to fines by the European Commission, and they would regard that as a severe attack on Italy's independence and ability to run its own economics. The other possibility is that market pressures will arise which will force Italy to change its tune regardless of what the European Commission does. In practice, both things are happening simultaneously, and it now looks as though there's a new realism creeping into the Italian government, which suggests that they may well want to lower the tensions by offering a new budget in response to the Commission's criticism. What does this tell us about European integration? Well, one thing is that it tells us about rules. Rules have been applied, particularly for the Eurozone, ever since the euro was created. Countries are very reluctant to follow them, and if they don't follow them, the requirement is for the European level to try somehow or other to impose the rules on them. If countries resist, do not accept the implementation of the rules, then we're in a quandary. And this is where we are stuck at the moment. In the past, Italy has used European pressure for a specific reason, which is to justify difficult reforms to its own population. This has been known in Italian as vincolo esterno, or foreign or external constraint. Now what Salvini and Di Maio, the two principal leaders of the Italian government, not the Prime Minister, are doing is trying to set up the European Commission as the public enemy. They want to use the dispute with the European Commission as a means to motivate their own supporters, and this is in anticipation of the forthcoming European elections. This, to me, is a disturbing trend at European level, because it also is exemplified in Central and Eastern Europe with the countries like Hungary, Poland, Romania, and maybe also even Austria, defying the European institutions on dealing with migrants. So there's a disturbing new trend emerging at European level.